And we're on.
We're on?
We are live.
Mine says off air. Oh, there it goes. We're live.
We're live.
Awesome. How you doing, Christina?
Hi, Tom.
Where are you located right now?
I am in Barnegat, New Jersey.
And I am way up north in Wayne, New Jersey. So you're basically down in Alabama, same type of distance, if you will, down in South Jersey.
I might as well be in Alabama, Tom.
Or or Mars, different
Or
world
Mars.
now.
There's nothing around me other than LBI. LBI is beautiful. That's like right there. But I'm not going there right now at this time of the year. And I can't go there during the summer. You can't get there with the
And you got the
traffic.
Jersey Devil. You got the Jersey Devil to keep you company.
Yes, he's interesting. I have a lot of Jersey Devils down here to keep me company, apparently.
That's funny. So what are we going to be talking about today, Christina?
So here on Real Talk with Cristina and Tom, we're going to be talking about mindset and how it matters. So we labeled today's topic Mindset Matters. You want to tell them a little bit about mindset, Tom?
Yeah, sometimes I think it's helpful to define what you're actually talking about, what the actual definition that whoever makes these definitions, whoever defines these words in terms, what they mean by mindset. And according to the dictionary, the mindset is the idea and attitudes with which a person approaches a situation, amongst many other definitions. But so let's think about that. Ideas and attitudes with which a person approaches a situation. So, what are some of the things that we approach a situation with? Well, our previous experience, our personal inclinations, our opinions based on our experiences, positive or negative experiences, right? So we take all of these things and they contribute to the way that we approach whatever it is we're going to approach, whether it's another person, a project at work, or what we're talking about here is changing our lifestyle, right? So we're taking all of these ideas and we're going to form our approach. So do we form our approach, or do we approach our health and wellness with a positive mindset, with I can do anything, I can do this, or I'm doomed to repeat my past failures. So that's where we get with mindset, and then we start talking about fixed and growth mindset, and that's kind of what I was just discussing. Is we take all of those things, what we just talked about, and we label them that I am this. I was born with this talent, with this ability, with this potential, and that's it. I have a ceiling, and I have a limited ability to achieve that potential. Or we have the growth mindset where anything is possible. With hard work, with dedication, with commitment, with a plan, we can achieve whatever it is that we're looking to accomplish. All right, so that's just a quick synopsis of fixed versus growth.
So do you think, Tom, that we can have that we live in one or the other? Or do you think that we're constantly going back and forth? We might have a growth mindset in certain areas of our lives, but in other areas of life, we have a fixed way of looking at things.
Oh, I think it's dynamic. I think everything in our life is dynamic, and but especially with our mindset, we might have a majority of one versus the other, but depending on the situation, right? We might be. I know workaholics. I know people that are successful as you could possibly be in a given field, yet in their personal life or in their health, they're very restricted. They're very fixed, and they don't have the amount of success in their personal lives as they do in their business life, right? So it's an interesting dynamic how somebody can be the dualistic nature of an individual. So it's always in flux. It's always in flux, and I guess the key is minimizing the amount of fluctuations, right?
So from your experience, Tom, or from our experience working with people, on whether it be, because I believe that it doesn't matter whether you're setting personal or, like you said, professional goals, right? Because it applies to both areas of our lives on it. But with clients, do we find that the ones that are successful have more of that growth mindset, and the ones who have, experienced more failures or setbacks in life in general, with their goal setting, have more of that fixed mentality? Like, I've failed so many times before. How many times have you heard that when it's a new enrollment, or somebody's trying a new challenge pack or a coaching system or whatever it is that they're working on with us on, that they said they've done this? I've done it before and failed. Do you find that the ones that are not successful are just like stuck there in that thinking?
Yes, because taking into consideration their age. So let's say you have a 40-year-old, right? They've had 40 years of conditioning of a certain mindset, of a certain way of approaching life. And if it's been a fixed mindset, if they've tried and failed, tried and failed, tried and failed over and over and over again, well, they're going to approach a system, a new system, regardless of what it is, with the mentality of, yeah, I'll give it a shot, but past practice has dictated that 6 weeks from now, I'm going to quit, or I'm going to start going back to my old habits. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about habits, and and I love the word conditioning. Just the way we condition our bodies. If I want to be a marathon runner, well, I need to condition my body to be able to run a marathon, and that's going to take time. It doesn't happen in it's funny. People want to lose weight, they want to change their lifestyle, and they expect to happen in a month. Well, if I was going to compare my mindset to preparing for a marathon race, it's going to take me a year or 2 years to prepare to get up to a marathon level distance.
And they also
So,
didn't develop the habits, right, Tom? Like in 1 day or 2 days. They developed this over a lifetime. It was a lifetime of
yeah,
experiences and of drilling the same thought sequence, or these same behaviors, behaviors being the actions where their thoughts take them, and where the habits develop from there on it, and implementing them, the bad ones, quote unquote bad ones, every day a certain way. And it, every time they did it, it reinforced it. So it didn't happen overnight. So it's unrealistic, right, to assume that you're going to fix it overnight, that you're going to correct the behaviors or even your train of thoughts overnight.
if you can create bad habits, that means that you can create good habits,
Right.
right? If it can be created, it can be destroyed.
If people only put as much effort in creating new habits as they did in nurturing their negative behaviors and habits, they would be successful. There would be nothing, there would be no obstacle that would stand in their way to making them, succeed at the end of the day. And that's where, the growth mindset, or developing a growth mindset, is super important when you are trying to achieve success in any area of your life.
And it's more than just being failing. It's more than just saying, well, I failed before, so that means I'm going to fail again. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond. It's about the experience. And for a fixed mindset individual, or in times when we all have that fixed mindset, and like we said before, these mindsets are dynamic. We might carry them with us for a period of time. Maybe we're in a funk. So for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe we're carrying with us a fixed mindset, and we're basing our experience on success or failure, whether or not I accomplished this goal, whether or not I completed the task. That that is how we're judging our success. That it's based on success. Well, that's not life. I'm sorry. Life is not black and white like that. Life, it's the old cliche. It's not the destination, but it's the journey, right? And that's where a growth mindset is different, is that it's not based on the end result, success or failure, black and white. It's based on the experience and the journey, what and who am I becoming along the way?
So
And
let's
that's
talk
ultimately
about But let's talk about that a little bit more. So in life, right, Tom, whether we're talking about personal or professional, there are going to be obstacles or challenges or things that we did not, variables that we did not account for that come into our path, and we have to deal with them. So most people that live in a fixed mindset, mentality, they look at that as a failure. And as soon as that obstacle hits, what happens?
They avoid it. They're going to run the other direction. So, and you're exactly right. A fixed mindset is going to avoid the challenge at all costs. They're going to find the path of least resistance. Where the growth mindset individual is going to say, this is a challenge. This is a little scary. And scary's okay. Scary's good in life. As long as we are go at it with an open mind and are willing to embrace that challenge.
So the growth mindset looks for the challenge, right? So there's the difference. Your fixed mindset, right? They run away from a challenge, whereas your growth mindset, they understand any flaw or failure to be a means to improve themselves, and to ultimately reach success, in any given area of their lives. So fixed mindset runs away from an obstacle. A a growth mindset, you almost want to say they run towards it. They're like, give me a new way to challenge myself, give me a new experience, a new way to grow something, teach me something.
And with the fixed mindset, once they're engaged in that challenge and the going gets rough, they tend to give up much quicker.
Whereas, and what comes with that?
Yeah, and whereas the growth mindset is going to, they're going to persist. They're going to keep working at it. They know they have some work to do, but they're willing to face that challenge.
But how do they look at the work time? Like, what do you notice with the people that, we have beyond clients, we work with other businesses, and what makes the other business owners that we work with, what is the difference between the ones that have that growth mentality versus the ones that have that fixed mindset on it?
What I have found in life from myself and from my students, from my clients and members, those that are willing to put in the extra work, I think that makes all the difference in the world, because it's not only you're putting in the time, but it's the mindset that I'm willing to go the extra mile. I'm willing to face the difficulty of accomplishing this goal or going along this path. I'm willing to go down that path. And I know it's going to take a little bit extra effort. I know I'm going to have to do more than maybe the other person, right? We all know somebody that had to, back in school, where they never had to study and they got straight A's. Yet me, I had to study twice as hard and 3 times as hard just to get a decent grade, right? So, but I was willing to do that. And if we're willing to do that, to put in the extra time, to go the extra mile, to face that challenge, to confront our quote unquote weaknesses, and understand that our flaws are perfect, because we're willing to take a look at, I'm not perfect, but I'm willing to try to make those flaws better, right? And that's a growth mindset. It's funny, the word growth, when you tend to grow, you think that there's an end point, right? So maybe when we think of growth, well, once we get to this point, that's it. We're done. We're done growing. If you stop growing, you're dead. You might as well be dead already, right? So it's a constant state of change. It's a constant. Life is growth constantly. So as soon as we stop having the desire to grow, then you failed. You're done. You might as well just give up.
So it's important to stay teachable, right? And to constantly challenge ourselves to, broaden our horizons, our educational levels, our life experience. Why are growth mindsets more successful? We know that they don't stop at any obstacle on it. And so with every obstacle they face and everything that they learn, they become more resilient. So they fight less too. To learn. So like the whether it's a client I'm working with or a business I'm working with, the ones that I already know based on their verbiage where they're going to be at and whether or not they fall into that fixed mindset category or that growth mindset by the things they say, like, oh, well, no, I'm too, I can't do that. You don't understand. I have this and this and this at stake. And every time I attempt to implement a new system or a new program, or I try to make a change, that means that I have to take a hit here or there. They're already making excuses before they've attempted to do anything. And they are doomed to, well, I'm going to go back to doing this because this worked for me. Well,
and it's safe.
And they're safe. They're safe. They're in that comfort zone. But then when you look at them and you say, well, has that really worked for you? If that really worked for you, why are you ready to close your doors?
And I think it goes back to what you just said about a minute ago. Are we coachable? And what comes with being coached? What comes with being the student? The teacher is going to tell you things that you don't like to hear and that you don't want to hear. But if we're willing to embrace that criticism, that constructive criticism, that's going to contribute to that growth, to the process of, you know, living the life that you maybe were too afraid to live because of that fixed mindset and all those things that go along with it. So that growth mindset, that individual is willing to take the criticism and learn from it and grow from it. Whereas the fixed mindset is, well, I've done this already, and I've tried it 5 other times with 5 different other programs, and I know it's going to happen. It happens every time. And so as soon as we try to correct them, say, well, we're going to start changing your mentality. Yeah, that won't work. And so and then once we start trying to teach them, well, this is what you need to change, they're going to close off. They're going to go into their shell because they're afraid of being told the truth.
So here's where I feel like, you know, in any area of life, you need 2 key things, you know, in order to be successful. You need training. And training is like, you know, here's training. Here's Grant Cardone, by the way. I am totally shouting him out right now because the man rocks on it. I could give you a book and say, here, go read this, do the exercises, begin to implement it immediately. That's training. A coach, what a coach is going to do, right, is going to help you identify objectively outside of yourself, right? Because you're too emotional and too involved and you can't see how you're operating. A coach can see that and say, okay, here's what you need to work on. And I am going to be, if you're a good coach is relentless. They're going to keep bringing up that source subject and they're going to keep saying, well, did you do this? Did you implement this? You don't want it. You're not hungry enough. You're not enough pain yet. Yeah. You know, some people get scared to say things like that. But if we want to coach people and make a difference in their life, we need to tell them, okay, that they're not going to be successful and clearly they're not in enough pain and no, they're not hungry enough if they're not going to make the change. If they're always, you know, what I find, I don't know if you agree, Tom, but if I'm trying to give someone a tip and they constantly keep interrupting me to say how, oh, well, I read that book. You know, I have to sometimes stop with some of them and give them a little bit of that tough love and go, well, if you read the book, then why are you in the situation you're in now?
Yeah.
You know so much. You've done so much. Why aren't you living with freedom? On it. So coaching, to me, I don't know how you feel, Tom, but, you know, training, picking up material, reading, making time for it, investing in yourself, that comes with being, you know, a growth mindset, guys. You know, this is not something you do once. I don't read one of Grant Cardone's books. I read every one I can get my hands on. I read it on a daily. I listen to him on a daily, as well as some of the other people I consider, you know, mentors to me for certain areas of my life. It is in my schedule to do this daily, and it will be in my schedule to do it daily for the rest of my life on it. It's not a one-time thing, but one tool and one resource that I think is crucial to success and continuous success, not just hitting a target and staying there and being comfortable, but to constantly grow, like you were talking about earlier, is being coached. You need to be held accountable. And you need an objective person who is walking the walk and talking the talk and going out there and doing it, and has been through the trudges already and can tell you, you know, you need that in your life. And if you refuse that, I think that you definitely, it's a clear sign you're in that fixed, mindset mentality. Because
It's interesting. Thinking about what you were just talking about, having mentors, having a coach, a teacher. I was just telling my students today, they were doing we're working out, and we're in the weight room, and I wanted them to partner up, and they were going to create their own workout for the day. And I told them to partner up with somebody that is more fit than you, that is stronger, that maybe you think is more advanced than you. And I went on to talk about how we never want to be the number one guy in the group, right? Don't be the smartest and the most talented and the best person in your group, because that means you're going to hang out with people who are going to leech off of you, that you're going to be the one that they go to. And that's all well and good for our ego, but it's not great for our growth, right? Be the one that's the least intelligent in your group. Be the one that's that there's always hungrier people in your group, because guess what? You're going to go to them. You're going to look to them. They're going to pull you along as you're striving and growing, and you have that passion to learn more. If you're with those same type of people, guess what? You're all going to go together, and you're going to grow together, right? So I always thought that was and when I realized that a long time ago, I always thought that was fascinating, because we all like to feed our ego, right? We want to be the best, right? Don't be the best, right? Be the lesser in the group and learn from the best.
I mean, you could always learn. I mean, I see it. I especially find this. I mean, if when trainers are out there talking and networking with each other, and they're sitting there, blaming their clients, it's like, I want to say to them, hello, we know that they're coming to us, and that they're not coming to us necessarily always from a growth mindset. A lot of them are coming, so step one for us is for us to help them identify that that's where they're operating from. You're operating from a fixed mindset, and then teach them, how to, we need to educate.
So
educate them on how to develop that growth mindset.
So what are some things that we can do, that our clients can do, that people that are listening, what can they do to help develop a growth mindset?
So a few things that they can do is, utilize certain tools, and we've brought them up here and there throughout our conversation so far. So, anything in the training area. So, training is not just attending workshops, it's, picking up material in areas of our lives that we're struggling with. Once you've identified, if you're a professional and you're struggling with sales, then you're going to go out there and you're going to look for the top people. Okay. I'm going to plug Grant Cardone again, because he's a beast on it, who are known to be not mediocre, but like the expert in this field. And then you're going to say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to spend the next year of my life, at the very least, I'm going to make a commitment for the next year that every day I'm going to have a relationship with Grant Cardone. I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to read him. I'm going to absorb it. I'm going to read the same book. You know what I do? I read the book, then I read it again. Then I read each chapter again, and I do the activity at the end of the chapter on it. I'm not reading the book once, guys. I'm reading the book 3, 4, 5 times, right? I want to absorb. What?
I said, that's not a paid advertisement for Grant Cardone.
Listen, I don't need to get paid. The man is brilliant, all right? I think everybody should know about Grant Cardone. If you don't know about Grant Cardone, go check him out. And he is awesome, because he gives so much information out there for free for you to start implementing, and you'll see the world of difference he makes in your life on it. But him, Zig Ziglar, whoever it is, John C. Maxwell, whatever area of your life that you're struggling with, we know what we're struggling with on it. Once you've identified it, which is the hard part, once you could say and verbalize it, then you go out there and you look for those masters, and you grab everything that they have to offer, and you keep going at it every day on it. And where there's a will, there's an A. I mean, Tom, you know what my schedule is like sometimes, and I never make an excuse. I am listening to 1 hour to 2 hours of this information every day. I am on webinars. I am on workshops. I am on the phone with people that are experts in their fields. It does not matter what time of the day it is. If I have to get up at 5 a.m. to take the call, I'm up at 5 every day and then some. Sometimes I have to get up at 2. We were talking about that earlier. I got to get up at 2 a.m. because I have another meeting on the table that day, and I need to make sure that I don't push anything back on my personal development in order to take that meeting. So that means I might have to get up at 2 and go plug in a Grant Cardone for that hour. Yes, that's right. I said it again, Tom. I love the man. Okay. So, and go listen to an hour on his Grant TV. Okay. And then read another couple of chapters of his books. And I do this in the morning and I end my day with it on it. It's important. Get your training materials and absorb, like just throw yourself into it. Get mentors. Look at those people that are experts in that training material picking up and live and breathe the things they're telling you because they did it. They're living proof that it works. They have the systems. They've been able to duplicate it with other people and make other people successful along the way. Pay attention. It's not about reading it and just going, well, I read it. I'm going to be successful now. No, implement everything that they tell you to implement, the way they're telling you to do it. If you had the answer, you'd be there already standing on stage next to them. You don't have the answer. So listen to what they say, and it's going to make you uncomfortable and challenge you. But guess what? That's how you grow and learn. And get a coach. Get a coach and listen to your coach, because a coach can only coach you if, and Tom said it 100 times in this little segment so far, be teachable. We are not, miracle workers here. We can make, your life easier by showing you how to implement systems. We can get you results quicker. But guess what? You've got to show up and be teachable and be willing to learn. Just attaching your name to someone does not make you successful. You have to do the work they did. If you want to make 6, 7 figures and you consider that to be successful, and you want to know how people are getting multiple systems out and have big product lines, when you ask them and they tell you this is what I did, don't go and try to revise the plan. No, you went to the architect. Just go develop the plan now. The way the architect laid it out for you on it. Don't try to rewrite it. Just follow it. Learn something from it. Tom's laughing because we have these conversations, about
the wheel,
every area of our lives with the people that we deal with on it. Those are the big 3 things, get mentors, get training material, and get a coach. And do what your coach tells you to do. Like, those are 3 huge steps to make a world of difference in your life on it.
You have any other tips?
Yeah, so, here are 7 tips for success I'll give you all around. Number 1 is mindset that we've been talking about, Number 2 is focus. You want to make a change. You need to obsessively focus on it. And when you're focusing, you need to understand you're going to challenge yourself and that no matter what, you're going to keep pushing through. Which brings us to tip 3. Make a commitment. Instead of looking at goals as, like passively, like, yeah, I want to change that. Yeah, I should change that. It's no, I have an obligation to make this change in my life. And the things that I hear people use as excuses for not getting things done, whether it's on the business end of it or on a personal end of it for them, I have a family. Well, welcome to adulthood. Oh, you have a mortgage to pay? You must be the first one ever who has a mortgage to pay. Oh, you have a job with responsibilities? Yeah, that's called being an adult. Come and join the rest of the world. They're not excuses. They're actually reasons why you should be as hungry as I'm telling you to be on it. You have a family? Guess what? You don't put every ounce of yourself into making yourself successful. There's no food on your family and you can't make the mortgage payment. So there's no roof over their head either on it. So let's put things into perspective here a little bit. They're not reasons why you don't do things and why you don't take the late meeting and why you don't spend 8 hours doing whatever you need to do in a training session to get what you need to get so you can get that revenue coming in on it. They're the reason why you do that on it.
Go ahead.
I
I want to say that, It's easy. We say it to our kids all the time. We say to people, you need to focus. You need to be committed. But it goes back so much deeper than that. You can't just say, just focus. Well, what does that mean, focus? There has to be a motivation behind it. And that goes back to our previous conversation, talk about the why. Why are you doing this? Why do you need to make a change in your life? Why are you trying to engage in a healthier practice? Well, there has to be a reason, and it's only you can discover and can truly understand your reason why. But the reason why the fitness industry is a multi-billion dollar industry is because people try and they fail, and they try and they fail, back and forth, because they didn't have conviction in their why. They didn't know their why. They probably never even thought about it. They just said, "Well, I want to be fit. I want to be in better shape."
They're treating
Why?
it as a hobby. They treat it as a hobby. We see that with clients. Oh, I'm going to take that class on it. And then, oh, you know what? I had to go food shopping. I had to pick up the kids and take them to football. I had dance. I had this. Everything becomes a priority over the one thing that they said they couldn't deal with anymore, and that was their pain for not hitting their goals and for the way that they're living their life and how depressed that made them. All of a sudden, they forgot how much pain they were in when they first started talking on it. So as far as I'm concerned, their pain isn't deep enough yet, because if it were, right, they wouldn't use those things as excuses. So you're right, focus and make commitments. And the things that people use that we hear as excuses to not get things done should be the thing to here's that fixed mindset versus that growth mindset, right? So those should be the very reasons why they do what they're supposed to do, and why they're doing the uncomfortable, and why they're taking the extra step, and why they might have to sacrifice an extra hour of sleep in the morning or go to bed an hour later at night to get it done, but get it done. Get shit done, period. End of discussion on it. No excuses. And your children, parents, are not an excuse for not doing things on it. So step 4, or success tip 4, would be action. And it goes to what I'm saying. You made that commitment. Now take action on it. Put yourself on a schedule. What is your rituals like? What are your daily habits like? Are you sleeping to 7, 8 a.m.? Are you rolling out of bed with 30 minutes to get ready so you can rush off to work? Or are you getting up, getting your workout in, getting your meals done, listening to an hour of stuff that's going to educate you, stuff that's going to set you on fire before you even walk out the door for the day on it? What are you doing? What are you doing in your day? Are you watching every episode that whatever it is? Stranger Things just came out, which I love, by the way, guys, and I did watch it on it. But are you spending 7, 10, 12, 20 hours a week catching up on your Netflix or whatever's on demand, because you have to binge watch every episode of Game of Thrones or you may die? But then you tell everyone that you have no time to get anything done. Well, if you're watching 6, 7, 8 episodes of a series in a row, you just spent a day doing things that aren't going to, progress your life. They might entertain you in the moment, but it's not bringing you any real value to your life. It's not going to help you achieve anything on it. So again, perspective on things, and we talked about that last week, your perspective on it. Take consistent daily action. Set yourself up on that schedule and do not let anything interfere with it. Everything else works around that.
And so, talking about action, sometimes, thinking about this, being in this industry and working with people for so long, you hear it all the time. Well, I'm just not motivated. I'm waiting for Monday to come so I can start my workout, because for whatever reason, fitness programs have to start on Mondays.
Yes.
Magical right? Day. I'm waiting for, I need motivation. I'm looking for motivation. You know what? Motivation's overrated sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to take action. Mm-hmm. Forget the motivation. So if you can't figure out, you're going to wait. We're going to spend our whole lives waiting for motivation and inspiration to come, and for the right teacher, and for the stars and the moon and the sun and Venus to be aligned. Take action first. All that stuff will come once you take action, right? Some people, they're inspired. They have an event in their life. a tragedy or just a moment where they had clarity and they said, this is it. I'm done. I'm done with my previous habits, my previous conditioning. I need to make a change in my life. And then make a change. They might have that personality. Others, they might make excuses day after day, just like you were talking about. Well, I've got my family obligations, I've got work obligations, I want to watch my Netflix, I got whatever it may be. For that inspiration to come, it's never going to come because there's always going to be something else.
Nope.
Take action first.
Yep. I mean, and you can't motivate. This is what I love when I see people in the industry. We're gonna motivate you. No, I'm sorry. You are not motivating anyone. A person is either motivated or not on it. That comes from themselves. You can support them.
Yep.
You can help further inspire them once they get started and they're ready to do the work, but you are not motivating them to do anything on it. And people should stop looking for advice from gurus that are telling them we're going to motivate you into making those changes. No, it is hard work. Start listening to people that are honest and real with you, that aren't trying to sell you some kind of scam, okay? Because they're counting on your $29.95 entrance fee into their challenge group, okay, on it. They're not motivating you. You are either motivated or not, period. You are either action oriented or not. Nobody can make that decision for you. Once you get action oriented and you get out there and you start to develop your daily rituals that go along with taking action consistently on it, you can start to surround yourself with people who have strengths in certain areas and they can inspire you. But if you're not already on that road to that, guess what? You can read every motivational quote in the world. It's not doing nothing for you. It's about implementing it yourself and being ready to implement it yourself on it. So number 5 reinforces, the action one, which is discipline. That's part of what I'm talking about in daily habits, people. Okay. It requires discipline. It doesn't come just because you wish it into your Google Calendar or because you typed it in there. It comes with repetition. Tom's laughing at me because I'm infamous for color code everything in Google Calendar on it, all right? On it. But it takes, you have to do it. Guess what? There are days where I am not perfect. There may be a day where
inconceivable.
I know, right? I get it all right all the time. No, there are days where I'm like, I am just gonna stay in bed until 7 a.m. I refuse to get out of bed at 4. Crazy that I did that. I have those days, I have off days, but I have way less off days than most people I come across with. And before 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning, I've already done what most people do all day long and then some on it. And do you think that happened just because I wished it to? Do you think it was easy the first day I did it? No, but I do it every day.
I like the word you used before, action oriented. Live an action oriented life.
Yeah. Life isn't going to happen to you. Life is what you go out and make happen in anything. People who are not successful are simply people who are not action oriented and people who are not teachable. They are people who are willing to accept what they have and they are not willing to do the work to make any real changes, to get anything different, and you can't teach them anything. So what you see is just more and more, experiences that reinforce that negativity in their lives. And it's just because they set themselves up for it. So, and with discipline goes number 6, right? Here's your 6th tip. Be relentless. I'm sorry, but you need to be relentless. I'm using words here that might scare people. Earlier on, I said be obsessed when we were talking about focus. Yes, be obsessed. When there are people in my personal life, they're like, you're crazy. You work so many hours. I mean, you have all these products already. Why do you need another one? You're crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I want to be crazy. I want to be known as, being obsessed with it on it. I don't want to be known as doing it as a hobby. That is the difference between me and other people. And the people that are in my circle are just as crazy, right? Because they're people I can grow with and learn with and be successful with. People who are always going to make excuses and who aren't passionately in love with what they do, it's not a wonder why they're not successful in it. On it, they're looking at themselves, waiting for something to happen inside internally when they should be out there doing things, because it's through experience and through action that passion's ignited. That's the only way passion is ignited, and the only that way that we bring any value to anyone. It's through out there doing it, not through internalizing it. It's not sitting in a meditative state 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. It's by getting out there and doing the work on it. So be relentless and let nothing stop you in the way. And then number 7 is accountability, because we all need it. So this is why you should be part of groups. And I don't mean networking groups. Don't go to your local chamber of commerce and hang out with other business owners that are all looking to learn something and none of you are teaching each other anything. I'm talking about mastermind groups. Look at the people who are out there doing everything you wish you had done and go and say, can I hang out with you? What can you teach me? And that's who you associate with on it. And get a coach. I cannot reinforce it enough. I say it. Tom will testify that I say it almost in every conversation with everyone who's either a client of mine or does business with me or who is an affiliate of mine, whatever it is, or if you work with me and you're on the MBS team, I say it. Be coached. Actually, when you're in-house MBS, it already comes with the territory. Every coach is coached, mandatory. End of discussion. If you're not teachable, you have no place trying to teach anyone else, as far as I'm concerned. So we practice what we preach here. And let me tell you, the ones that don't follow that rule, that are not teachable and are not coachable and are not utilizing being coached, they get ghosted. Peace out, Cub Scouts. We don't want you on the team. If you have all the answers on it, we don't need you here on it. If you can't see the value in learning from others, we don't need you here. So our members know it.
Also goes with growth mindset is that those that are growth oriented, they revel in the success of others. Mm-hmm. They want everyone in their life that they're associated with to be successful. They're not threatened by other success. Yep. And with the fixed, you get jealous and envious and insecure, and all those emotions start popping up when people are more successful than you. So then what happens? You go into your little turtle shell and you back off and you go back into hiding.
Yep.
Right? So I think everything that we've talked about today, especially the accountability, who is holding us accountable, right? We can hold ourselves accountable, but we all really going to hold ourselves accountable. What are we going to whip ourselves 10 times because I didn't go run my 5 miles today? No, you have to be answerable to somebody. Somebody has to hold your hand to the fire when you don't do what you said you were going to do.
Yep.
And so when you put when you put to work all these 7 tips that you just gave, from mindset, your focus, commitment, action, discipline, being relentless, accountability, you can't fail. And beyond failing black and white, you can't grow. And ultimately, that's what we're talking about. There is no destination. There's no end game. There's no end point. We might have specific goals we want to accomplish. But guess what? When we get to that goal, we can't stop there. That goal that we accomplish now gets transformed into something else. Mm-hmm. And it keeps on transforming and keeps on transforming. Until we have no more opportunities to transform.
I'm going to throw something in here. I said that we were earlier, so I was going to give you the 7 tips, but while we were talking about kind of accountability and being coached, and Tom went on to further that, there was something that was like screaming in my head, and it's something Tom, I know, has heard me say, and I just said this, last night with a client on it, but it was, who's on your squad? Who makes up your squad? You want to know why I said earlier we ghost them and they're not allowed to be here? Goodbye. You're out. Peace out, Cub Scout. It's because we do not want it. That stuff is that negative person, that unteachable person, that person that you have to beg for them to show up to life is so, they just consume all your energy. That time you're wasting with them could be time you're enriching yourself and the rest of your team. So who's on your squad? is your squad made up of people that Tom's talking about that are reaching success and are taking action and are committed and are focused and aren't threatened by you, or is your squad made up of people who are going to give you things like, well, no, I can't be coached by here. I think that's a conflict of interest. No, you don't want to be coached, period. How are you telling other people that they need to be coached when you're not coachable on it? What? Oh, you don't need to make any changes, but you're ready to close the doors? No, you need to make changes. Well, I like the way things are going. No, you don't. You don't like the way things are going on it. So who's on your squad? Is your squad full of those people that are going to go, well, no, I don't need to do this? No. Or is your squad full of people that are going to go, all right, I see your point. Now, how do I do it? How did you do it? Can you teach me? Teach me how to do it. Or direct me to someone. Direct me to someone who is an expert in that area of life. You need to watch who's in your inner circle, people.
Self-reflection.
You need to watch it. So don't waste your time with them. I don't sugarcoat. Tom can tell you, I don't sugarcoat on it. I am a very giving person. I give a lot of people opportunities. I offer them a lot of opportunities. I'm charitable. But if I see that you're not doing what you need to do and you're taking that opportunity and you're throwing it out the window, I'm going to pull it from you and give it to somebody who's hungry. I don't need to convince you that you're in an extreme level of pain and should make a change in your life. You should know that already on it. I'm going to go give that opportunity to somebody who wants it. So as quick as I can give it is as quick as we take it away here, in-house. Why? We practice what we preach. I own the two companies, and guess what? I get coached. I have mentors in different areas of life, and I keep furthering my knowledge and sharpening my training on it because I know that forever, for the rest of my life, no matter what level I happen to take MBS or MBS Association to, I am going to stay teachable. I want to learn. I'm hungry. There it is. I'm hungry. So make sure everyone on your squad, okay, is hungry too on it. Because if they're not, they're going to hold you back on it. So take a good look around. And that's a good idea of where you're at and how you're really living. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I agree with everything you said. And I think it's important to do, we do sometimes a post-summer cleaning in our house. We do a spring cleaning after a long winter. We need to do our own cleansing. We need to do some self-analysis and see who's in our life and what value are they bringing to our life. Are they that friend that is always calling you up and complaining about things, about the way life is, or about this person, or about my spouse, or about work? Or what do they bring? I like to use the term, what are they bringing to the table? And if they're always taking, you need to reevaluate why they're in your life. I'm not saying don't be compassionate. The greatest gift that we can be to ourselves and to others is to be compassionate. But there comes a point where it turns from compassion to whatever term you want to do, life sucking, life draining, energy draining. They're sucking the life out of you. And you think, why am I hear this every single day, and they're complaining and they're whining about this part of their life, and they're not happy. And then when they say, when I get this, I'll be happy. And then they get that thing and they're still not happy. Self-analysis. Do some evaluations in your life. Trim the fat. We don't need a lot of things in our life to be happy. Think about what you really, really need in your life to be happy. You got a lot of excess stuff, the big house. I tell my wife all the time, I can't wait for my kids to grow so we can downsize, right? So we can, now that doesn't mean I need to keep every closet full of stuff to make me happy, my garage full. I've tried to trim the fat every single day in my life. But it's nice when you don't have that big burden of carrying the weight of the world, of carrying things and finances, of, I got to work 18 hours a day. I have to neglect my health and my wellness so I can keep up my lifestyle, right? Dalai Lama has a great quote, says something like, we spend our whole life gaining wealth and losing our health. And then when we get older, we spend all of our wealth to gain back our health, right? We can do both. You can take care of yourself from a mind and body standpoint.
Yeah.
and a spiritual standpoint. And you can take care of your financial well-being and your ambitions and your goals and your family and all those things. It can be done.
Actually, taking care of your financial, right? It does contribute to your spiritual health, because if you are, again, and I'm going to say it because the man is brilliant. Okay. Grant Cardone says all the time on it. Your problem is not that, you're spending too much. It's that you're not making enough. And why? Because you're focused on the wrong things on it. So you are not hungry enough to be successful enough on it. And you could afford. So it's not that you can't afford a program. You're not making enough money and you are spending money on the wrong areas of your life on it. So it's there. It's just about what you're going to do with it and what you're really striving for and how long you're going to live in that fixed mindset of, I'm used to this experience and there's nothing else except for this experience on it. I'm living proof. Okay. One of these days, one of these real talks will be, my start and where I came from, and coming from a place that, was critical and, health wise on it and financially and everything I have done, and to this point, and the fact that it's 4 years later after I started this company and we're about to scale up again on it. It didn't happen just because I simply wished it. It happened because I was hungry and I was tired of the way things were, and there was absolutely nothing that was going to stop me. And believe me, Tom's been with me long enough to know that there's been obstacles and there have been haters and there have been attempts, but I just get up and come hard.
That's it. Be relentless. So we've been going for 51 minutes now. So I think it's a good time to cut it there.
Yep.
We gave a lot of information. Think about where you're at in your life, what changes you've always wanted to make but haven't had the courage. Start making some changes. If you make a wholesale change all at once, typically that's when failure occurs because it's too much too soon. Think about your why. Think about the change that you can make today in your life and the next change tomorrow and the next day and so forth. Start going from that fixed mindset to the growth mindset. Find a teacher. Reach out to us. Check us out on our website, tomgalan.com, CristinaRamillo.com, right? MBS Connection. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Read our blogs.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe here. Just get connected to us. Email us. Email us at info@mbsconnection.org. Or email me directly at Cristina@mbsconnection.org or Tom directly at Tom@mbsconnection.org. We are always willing to talk to people. It costs $0 to speak with us. And it may be just the thing you need to see some real change in your life. So reach out, subscribe, follow.
And tell a friend.
Yep. All right, guys. All right. So thank you for your time. We'll see you next week. Bye, Tom.